Carmina Mora, The Artist. The Artist was released in Dead by Daylight on November 30th, 2021 in the Portrait of a Murder chapter. The Artist has been out for almost 4 years, with November 30th being her 4th anniversary in the game. During the 4 years in the fog, Carmina has only been given one singular life change, being the 6.7.0 light burn removal patch where flashlights can no longer remove dire crows. There was the 9.0.0 update that brought String Trap and Five Nights at Freddy's into the fog, that brought some changes that tried to nuke her add-ons. However, thankfully, those changes didn't come through. Carmina hasn't received many changes throughout the years because behavior stated that she was still a very good killer. She has the ability to deny loops, snipe people through walls and cross map, have some fun clip shot moments, while also having weaknesses that make her feel balanced. However, since the beginning of the year and even some before, me and my fellow artist mains have agreed that she is slowly being left behind. Many bounce changes and updates have slowly been hurting Carmina's strength and fun each and every patch that goes on. The patch as of right now being Sinister Grace 9.2.0 that brought Krasu and V Bunyasak has updated maps with more filler tiles, more lockers, more filler tiles, more pallets, and more importantly, more lockers which remove you of her swarms. Given how Behavior tried to update artists with an add-on assassination, they might not have any plans in the future for her, or maybe even not know what to do with her. However, I have some ideas that I would like to share with you. Hello everyone, my name is Astral Nest, where no matter where in the cosmos you are, you always have a home in the nest. I am a Prestige 100 artist main who specializes in artists, and I have over 1k hours on her alone. I am here to give you all my proposals on my version of the artist update that I would give to her. Please note that these are all only proposals, and I am always down to debate and discuss more, so please let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like if you love artists as much as you do, and hit that subscribe, please. For more artist content, you will not regret it. Now, let's answer one quick question. What is our goal with updating artists? Well, it seems simple, right? Make her better. Right? It's so easy. Make her better. However, we have to take a step back and understand the artist as a character in the game of Dead by Daylight. Artist is what I would consider a very complex character. Compared to many other killers such as Wraith, Legion, and Nemesis, Artist requires a lot of game knowledge to perform and excel. Not everyone can pick up Artist and do good with her, as she has many key traits to her power that take practice and understanding. So the answer would be to make her easier, right? Well, not quite. Complex characters should exist in games to diversify the pool of characters. Usually the harder characters to understand with more complex movesets have dedicated players who understand their character in and out and practice for hours. Doomfist and Wrecking Ball from Overwatch are great examples. They both have very dedicated player bases who have put thousands of hours just to understand every single aspect of their character. I am actually a Wrecking Ball main in Overwatch, so you can see the similarities I have. So, making artists easier would rob the time of the dedicated artist players who have put thousands of hours into learning her. We do not want to simplify the artist. We do not want to make her easier, but we want to make her more understandable. Making her easier would result in a similar situation with Singularity and Clown. Singularity's update was very diverse, say. He was given many buffs and made much easier for the general player base. Many Singularity mains felt their time was wasted. Did you know that Singularity did not have a set overclock duration? It was based on how many people you had slipstreamed. Did you know you did not have haste base kit? And you did not have a targeting limiter at all. You had to know the distance in and out. So when Singularity was made easier, a lot of people felt that they spent so much time learning Singularity just for behavior to say that your time was meant for nothing. Because now the character you enjoy is easier and anyone can do it. You climbed this mountain of skill expression, but we brought that mountain down to a little hill that anyone can climb. Now, I won't say the make her easier answer is bad. I think it still has merit. But to keep Aris's true identity around being a complex character, I'm proposing this update around a different goal. What if we make her more rewarding? A lot of artist mains that I have talked to, and a lot of people who want to try artists, usually say the following of these things. She doesn't feel rewarding. She feels too punishing. She she's feast or famine. She doesn't feel good. She feels clunky, she feels sticky. So, I want to propose this update around making her much more rewarding in her base kit. Her add-ons will be getting some reworks in this base kit, as I want to diversify her power while allowing for more skill expression and much more interesting playstyles, especially with her Iridescent reworks. Don't worry, I got some. I got some ideas for them. Now, let's start with her base kit. We're going to go over a lot of numbers, so bear with me for a second. Base kit wise, current artist starts with 3 crows in her inventory. Crows will stay idle for 10 seconds before they disintegrate unless you place another one or you launch them. Launching the crows will put you on cooldown for different times based on how many birds you sent. If you launch 1 crow, your cooldown will be 5 seconds before you can set up another. It will be 9 seconds for 2 crows, 12 seconds for 3 crows, and 14 seconds for 4 crows if you're running Ink Egg. There is also a code for 5 birds, but we won't be going over that because currently right now, and even with this update, it will be impossible to fully achieve 5 birds. It takes survivors for a total of 8 seconds to fully repel a swarm. However, this can reset by vaulting a pallet, by dropping a pallet, or by vaulting a window. They could also stop the action entirely, and they will have to reset from 0. The only numbers we're going to change here are the cooldowns. I agree that some of the cooldowns are very rough. The only one that I think is fine is the 5-second cooldown. This will stay as it is. The cooldowns are very punishing when you are looking for ways to try and get more birds out of it, because usually you lock yourself to 1 bird wonders where you send 1 bird, another bird, another bird. So, to make her more fluid, we're only going to touch the 2 crow and 3 crow cooldowns. I will be reducing the 2 crows cooldown from 1 second to 8 seconds, and the 3 crows will be reduced from 12 to 10. This will allow artists to feel more fluid without buffing her to spam shotguns of 3 birds over and over without lack of punishment, as the 8-second repel window for the survivor is still shorter for the 10-second cooldown. Now, let's talk about the survivor interactions with the artist. Like we said, it takes survivors a total of 8 seconds to fully repel a swarm. However, once they do this swarm, once they start repelling the swarm action, you still see the aura of the swarm for additional 2.5 seconds after a survivor starts repelling. We're going to take a bit from Velvet. We're going to do a little bit of what they did with Huntress and Deathslinger with a compensation add-on being Velvet Fabric. We're going to take a little bit of Velvet Fabric and make the base kit number 3 seconds instead of 2.5. However, unfortunately, Velvet Fabric will still be nerfed in this aspect down to 1 second, but we'll get there shortly. Now, let's get into specific animations, such as summoning, placing, and launching. Summoning takes 1 second to hold out your bird, to raise up your hand to place a bird. Placing a crow is 0.5 seconds before you can place another one, and your cooldown after launching a M1 is 1 second. To do a full summon, place, and launch is about 2.5 seconds, which is pretty long, but is kind of reasonable for what on paper is a really strong power. However, we are going to make her feel more fluid by reducing some of these cooldowns. Summoning will take 0.8 seconds instead of 1 second, and the launch cooldown will be reduced from 1 second to 0.7. Taking a little bit from Severed Tongue here. Severed Tongue is the add-on that reduces the launch cooldown to 0.5. We will be taking 0.3 out of it and moving it to base kit. Will Severed Tongue be a 0.2 add-on? Unfortunately, Severed Tongue will be reworked, but this will make her feel more fluid. Now, is that all we're going to do to the base kit? Not yet. I want to propose a new mechanic for artists being Crow's True Sight. This is a placeholder name, so obviously if you have better names for it, please let me know. But here is the mechanic. One of the many pain points I hear many times with her, like I said, is she doesn't feel rewarding enough. Why should I go for sniping? What does that get me? Survivors can heal pretty fast. They can do they can hide. Sniping just does not feel good. It feels like I set up so much just for one injury. So I wanted to make a brand new mechanic to make her feel more rewarding for the sniper players. When you injure a survivor farther than 20 meters from your position, instantly have 1 second removed from your cooldown. Now, these numbers are subject to date. English, sorry. I probably will cut that out. Maybe. These numbers are subject for debate. But this is more the idea of giving a reward for sniping without buffing the melee birds, which I believe for their instant damage, zoning, idle shots are pretty strong enough as they are. Now, I considered 1 second, which sounds low, given that because it takes a while for your cross maps to hit, and the 1 second should be able to top off. However, I was also considering making the range requirement farther. I was thinking of making the requirement even like 40 meters. However, sniping someone out of that range would instantly refill your cooldowns. I was a little afraid to do that because especially if you have severed hands, which will be untouched, spoilers, it could get out of hand. And I didn't want to make it a frustrating mechanic. The numbers are absolutely up for debate, so please give me your ideas. Now, let's start covering our add-on reworks, which are probably the biggest changes I want to propose, especially when we get to the Iridescence. So, Chocolate Corn, I want to turn into the meme add-on. Artists has a meme add-on already, except it's not really a meme add-on. It is a hindrance add-on that does nothing, being Charcoal Stick. So I want to make Chocolate Corn a actual meme add-on. So, Chocolate Corn, survivors complete the repel action 12.5% faster, basically removing 1 second, and then grants 500 bonus BP for injuring a survivor with a crow. A rework for oil paints would be reduces summoning time by 10%. This will allow summoning to feel more better, however, not so much where it feels necessary, hopefully. Thick Tar will remain the same. Vibrant Obituary will get a rework. It will be getting a new effect, being survivors who finish the repel action suffer from blindness for 30 seconds. Darkest Ink will be getting a rework, so don't worry, she's not getting 2 blindness add-ons. But I wanted to get a add-on that activated when survivors finish the repel action. Automatic drawing will remain the same. It will be the same as it is. Velvet fabric will be reduced to 1 second as the 0.5 is now base kit. Untile Agony will remain the same. Darkest Ink. Darkest Ink is getting a rework where survivors who cleanse themselves of being swarmed in a locker are incapacitated for 10 seconds. Incapacitated is a very interesting status effect that can be problematic. Eruption. But I think it would work pretty fine here. Completing the repel action can be is not guaranteed just for cleansing bar. It only makes lockers punishing, but also incapacitation for 10 seconds will not be that problematic. The survivor can still vault, can still chase, can still do whatever they want. So it'll just be nice little slowdown. I do want, if we ever get this, of course, but I want to see how bad it could be in like a 3-gen standoff. Silver Bell will remain the same. O Grief O Lover will be getting a buff as when a survivor gets swarmed, they are inflicted with exhausted for 30 seconds. O Grief O Lover will be getting buff so it can be on par with other exhaustion add-ons, such as Molted Skin by the Xenomorph and other exhaustion add-ons as well. Charcoal Stick is getting a rework when dire crows are on cooldown, gain the undetectable status effect. This is basically getting Iridescent Feathers add-on effect, so don't worry, Eerie Feather lovers. Like I said, the Eerie's are getting reworked, but you still have your Charcoal Stick without the cost of needing to throw every single bird out there and without losing a crow from your inventory. Thorny Nest is getting a rework. Is getting updated to where survivors damaged by a dire crow are inflicted with broken for 80 seconds. Matea's baby shoes has always been a pain point for many survivors and artist players, and I did want to give it a rework that would be useful but still strong while also being fair. So Matea's baby shoes is getting a rework based around our new base kit mechanic, Crow's True Sight, or whatever you would prefer to name it if you got a better name. Activating Crow's True Sight causes all survivors to scream and reveal their locations. This allows it to not be a frustrating melee bird farm simulator where artists mains who run it or artist players are not forced to try melee bird just for value. It is a very true, well-earned add-on. Ink Egg will remain the same. Severed Tongue is getting a rework. Injuring a survivor with a dire crow reveals their aura for 3 seconds. Basically, think of glowing concoction from the Huntress. However, shorter, that way it does not farm off the crow's true sight. Severed Hands will remain the same. And now we get to her Iridescents, which are, in my opinion, the most interesting ones for me. My goal with her Iridescents were to make them truly change your play style. Maybe not even S tier, not her best, but very different. So, Garden of Rot is getting a rework. You gain the ability to send crows individually. Crows can no longer disintegrate, with the downside of crows can no longer do instant damage. And then Iridescent Feather. After a crow flies further than 40 meters, gain the ability to reverse the swarm's direction, and crows no longer do instant damage. The idea of these crows is to do a interesting change in playstyle. One thing I've always wanted to do was send a crow individually per add-on, and then in order to make Iridescent Feather more interesting, it will be a boomerang add-on where you can boomerang birds back and forth. And with these combined, you can send birds individually and boomerang each of them separately. Now, will behavior do this? Probably not. I'm not even a game developer, I have no experience, but even I bet that sounds like a nightmare for coding. Especially with all the different add-ons with these, uh, any of these separately. But it's something I wanted to give my opinion on. I do not want artists to fade into obscurity. As someone who has put thousands of hours into my favorite character and I love teaching them, I do not want artists to go unforgotten. So I hope you all enjoyed this update. Please let me know what you think and what you would change about our favorite killer so she doesn't fade away into the graveyard that she came from. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all, if you stick around for this long, I stream live on Twitch at Astral Nest TV. So please come by, say hello, and I'll see you all around soon.